I'm Lynn Wielenga, and I live south of Hull, Iowa, on a family farm. I grew up in the big city of Denver, Colorado, and got transplanted to Iowa when I came to Dordt College. So my husband grew up here. He just moved from the upstairs bedroom to downstairs. And he said I changed the silverware drawer. I was in an education class. I think this was the first time we met. And it was my sophomore year, and we were learning, they called it audio-visual equipment at the time, you know. And so I needed to make a slideshow as part of my homework. So I asked a friend of mine who lived in Hull if she knew any farmers that we could take pictures, because I thought if I go back to Denver and teach, I want to teach them about farming, you know, that'd be something interesting. So she took me here because her older brother was good friends with Daryl. And yeah, I took pictures of his horse and the chickens and the cows. But the farmer wouldn't let me take a picture of him. And I thought he was kind of cute. Anyway, that was the first time we met. And then we got more acquainted at the local roller skating rink. I guess it was mixed emotions because I really liked teaching, but I also had decided that if I would become a mother, I wanted to be home with my children, if possible. And Daryl kind of wanted a wife at home. So I thought, well, that would work then when we have children. And we did have a child in our first year. And at that time, I hadn't even heard of homeschooling, but I could use my teaching that way later. I think right now farmers especially are going through a challenging time because over the years our input costs like fertilizer, seed, feed has increased, and our commodity prices have not increased much at all. Definitely not at the rate of input costs, and so it gets to be a tighter and tighter margin for profits. And honestly, we have not made income the last 3 or 4 years. We're just working, we're just trying to keep it going, you know. But there's things out of our control, like markets and weather, like I said before, and disease. You know, you're always fighting that with animals, animal health. We're the only business that I can think of that does not set the price for our product. Other people do that, you know. Because we're such a small percentage of the population, people don't realize the trouble that the American farmer is in and how it could affect the whole economy and how it will affect the food supply if farmers don't continue farming. With prayer, sometimes I think farmers tend to just work harder. You know, they think that will fix it. I don't know that working harder always is the solution. I think we have to work smarter. You know, we have to innovate or come up with new ideas. My son has been talking about maybe in the future going into a little organic, because that seems to be where the market, you know, where there might be a niche market. But that would be a huge change, and so I think he would try it a little at a time. So yeah, we just had a narrow window, just a few days here and there when you could plant, when it was dry enough. You know, it has to dry for a day because it's too muddy right after a rain. It has to dry for a day or two and then you can get in the field. So we're fortunate we have our corn planted and that I have my garden planted, but there's people who are still waiting to plant. And we're waiting to plant our beans, and usually we're finished by now. We've always had a crop. We always have. And I think God said in the Bible, now that's maybe not for each individual farmer, but there always will be seed time and harvest, you know. So I think we will get it in.